This is Matthew McConaughey.
Natalie Portman.
James Patterson.
Michael Ian Black.
And you are listening to
Five Questions
with Dan
Schawbel.
Leah, welcome to Five Questions.
Thank you for having me.
How have you dealt with the pain of sharing memories of your life growing up in the Church of Scientology?
Well, I think it's partly because I've been doing the work therapy, which is Scientology is very against going to see anybody in the mental field. As a matter of fact, Scientology sets up any real doctors in the field of mental health as the enemy, like of humanity. So that was a big step, and also because I think it's part of healing when you share your pain. And I wanted to be somebody who could, because I promoted Scientology, I also wanted to be part of the healing process of those coming out of toxic and abusive relationships, whether it was Scientology or a frame of mind or a bad relationship. I just thought sharing pain is important. Part of what we should be doing as humans is sharing our pain with each other so others don't feel so alone in theirs.
Yeah, it's a form of therapy as well. And I saw, all the seasons of the show and really enjoyed it. And what's really great about what you're doing now is you have so much going on. You're kind of like reinventing yourself in your own way and challenging yourself. For instance, you're pursuing an undergraduate degree at NYU. Why did you decide to pursue it now at the age of 50? And what has your experience been like so far?
Well, I wanted to do it because it was the kind of the last piece of me that was taken from me as a child, in education in general, but also higher education, like most cults, are frowned upon because the more educated you are, the more you learn to be a critical thinker, right? And abusive and toxic cults and organizations and relationships want you to not ask questions, right? Because asking questions would lead to you possibly getting the answers that you don't that will open your eyes, or not getting the answers that will open your eyes. So I wanted to take that piece of me back, the part that I didn't get to have as a child, and through adulthood I didn't get to get an education, and I wanted to take that back for myself. It's very difficult, I have to say, the older you get when you have a full life and career. And it's not easy. The good news is I'm a little prepared now for what my daughter is about to do, because I'm about to send my daughter off to college, and I'm like, wow, this is really where you learn to do things on your own. But it's a little bit different for me because I want to, right? This is like this. I kind of eat up knowledge. I've always been that way, and so that's why I wanted to pursue it. I wanted to give myself that back, that gift of an education, and I tell you, it ain't easy.
Yeah, and those conversations between you and your daughter about your, experience as a student must be really interesting.
Well, right now she's at that age where nothing I say is helpful. She told me, like I said, Sophia, there's certain things I have to teach you as your mother. Like, and she's like, we have YouTube, Mom. We don't need parents anymore. They say those things. But I'm a little bit prepared for what she's about to enter, and I think that's good. And also, I'll be able to say that me and my daughter, that we're the first people of our family to have gone to college, and I think that's a special thing for my daughter and I to share.
That's amazing. And of course, because at this age you're going back to school, it also communicates to other people, hey, it's never too late, or you can always learn something new. So it does send a lot of really positive messages as well, especially with like so much like age discrimination and things that we experience in society.
Of course, you're absolutely right. And I think when we think that we're done learning, I mean, that's kind of not usually the people that I attract to.
Yeah, I live by this whole thing of like, you're a student for life, not just for 4 years of school.
Correct.
And aside from going to school, you are a judge for So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
What qualities, after all your years, as an entertainer, what qualities do you look for in talent, and what's your biggest turnoff?
Biggest turnoff is not being aware that you're dancing for other people and performing for other people, where you're kind of selfishly up there in your own little world. As performers, we need to know that there's somebody beyond here, right? This conversation is not just you and I. We're hopefully projecting out into who's listening and watching this, in hopes that something that we said made them smile, made them think differently, made them not feel alone, right? There's an intention behind a piece of art, no matter what if you're a singer, right? Like you want to give the listener some feeling. You want them to feel something, whether it's happy, whether it's pensive, whether it's sad, right? It's like, as an artist, you're supposed to be thinking about the audience, right? What am I communicating? What is my art communicating? What I want them to communicate? Maybe I just want them to think. So that's my biggest turnoff, I think, is a selfish performance. And what I look for is feeling something. I don't look for technical, your toes, because I don't care about that, right? Imperfection is beautiful. I look for how I feel when I'm watching. I'm looking for overall performance. And I've loved every minute of doing the show. I have anybody who knows Leah, like I dance all the time. I have a dance studio that I built in my house. Like I dance every day. So I just fell in love with ballroom after Dancing with the Stars. All my friends are dancers. Like I could just watch people dance all day, all night. I could watch people sing all day and night. Like I could be in the studio with my friends who are singers. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Just got coffee handed to me. Like I could watch somebody create their art all day and night. I love watching people do their thing that they love.
Me too. And it was so weird to see that you were criticized. Like what makes her qualified?
Honestly,
like what makes that person who's criticizing you qualified,
Well, who makes anybody qualified?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not knocking anybody, but if you really look like, so what, you're in a music video, you get to dance ballroom, like you don't know what you're talking about, like necessarily, right? Like, unless you're like a ballroom dancer, ballroom judge, a professional judge, you really don't know you really don't have the credentials, right? But you do, in that you love dance and that you're a watcher of dance, a fan of dance. I mean, I could also judge a singing competition. I'm not gonna be able to go, oh, you were sharp, or I didn't, I'd be like, I didn't feel anything. You didn't sound great. My ear was didn't, you were just kind of singing. You did a competent job, but I didn't feel any emotion behind what you sang. I feel like I could judge anything.
I also feel that a lot of things aren't random. And especially in the media world where there's so much competition, I just don't think there's many handouts. I don't think anyone's like, oh, I feel bad for her, let's give her a spot.
Right.
Everyone's chosen for a reason. I think part of it when it comes to judging on panels, especially, is some level of diversity.
Yes, because do I want to hear, and I don't think people want to hear either. And by the way, like there'll be 9 great, like I got 99.9% positive feedback from being on that, and I was a judge on as well Dancing with the Stars, and also hosted Dancing with the Stars, right? So it's like, but it's like that one person that we all attract to, right? Like the one person who's like a shithead.
Exactly.
Sorry, shithead.
And aside from all of that you're doing, you're also the host of the game show People Puzzler. What have you experienced and learned through the past 2 seasons?
Well, so we just wrapped season 3, and what I learned, because I do 6 shows a day, sometimes 7 shows a day of People Puzzler, right? So I literally, the first show, there's 3 panelists, 3 people. As soon as that show's done, I run off stage, I run to my dressing room, change my clothes, come back and do another 3, right? And that goes on all day. So what I learned the most is that people, I come up there, I never actually sit and think of who I am, I guess. I forget, right? I just see myself as Leah. And I forget that people know me from TV, which is crazy. So I've learned, I get up there and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? How you doing? And I'm busting chops. And sometimes I get the look, a lot of times I get this kind of like look. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what's going on? Do they hate me, or what's happening? Did I say something wrong? And I realized like people are just not used to meeting people that they've seen on television, and also they're not used to being on television. And so now like it really happened like show 2 season 1, when I realized how much I have to really host. And I really do take my job seriously. I mean, I don't just come up there and be like, ready to go. What's your name? Where are you from, honey? Don't worry. Take a deep breath. We want you to win. You're good. I'm good. You just say whatever you want. Don't worry. It's not live. If you don't feel good about it, we could stop. If you need to go to the bathroom, we could stop. So all day, I'm basically hosting people in my house, and I feel a responsibility towards them. And so I've learned a lot that you really just have to kind of take yourself out of it and understand that other people are going through things that have nothing to do with you.
I completely agree. I actually had no idea until I started watching Jeopardy again after many
Yeah.
years. My girlfriend's like, do you know they film all of these in one day?
Is that crazy?
I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that's so much. And so when you're not doing that, you're, hosting another show and you're at school and you're doing other things, other personal activities. So it being a mom, so there's a lot going on for you.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great thing that you're just such a kind of a cheerleader and supporter of the people who are on the show, just because many of them have never been on TV, or most of them have never been on TV before, yet you have for so many years.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that I love regular people. Like when they asked me to do the game show, I was like, wait a minute, is it celebrities? Because I don't really love interviewing celebrities, and is it like really Jeopardy type questions, because like I can't be doing stuff like that. And they're like, no, it's People Magazine, and it's like pop culture, and it's regular people, because I love I just love regular people. I would rather spend my day doing that than being with celebrities. And then on top of that, Mike and I are doing our Fair Game podcast. We're going to be launching that soon. We're going to be doing twice a week, and the format's going to be a little bit different. So we continue that fight, right? We continue to, that's an important part of my life.
Yeah, I feel like that part especially is mission driven more than, hey, let's find like 10 advertisers or anything. I think that there's more of a mission behind that one for sure.
Correct. And so we're going to continue to do that until something's really done about it.
I love it.
And so, I just continue to do things that I love, and it's like, I'm so blessed to be able to do things that I love. Like, people ask me like, why did you pick something like the People Puzzler to do? I'm like, because it's fun, because it's easy and it's light. These people that come on the game show, every time they like get knocked out of a round or lose, I'm like, oh my God, and we don't give them anything. I was like, like we should have People Puzzler mugs or something, because I feel so bad, because I am a hostess in my house. Like you can't leave my house without me giving you food or something, a plant, like I got to give you something. You can't just come, or if I go to your house for dinner, I don't show up empty handed. I bring a candle, I bring things. So I feel the same way about People Puzzler, but I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're always like, oh my God, Leah, I had the best time. Are you kidding me? Like this was the highlight of my day. And it just puts it in perspective again, how happy people are just to have this kind of experience. And it really does put things in perspective for me. And it's a joy to do. And that's why I decided to do it.
And what's your best piece of career advice?
My best career advice is to not give up, because there's 1,000 reasons why in any given day why I would have given up, or why you should have given up, right? And it's really about the belief in yourself. And you don't need to have belief in yourself to fake it and to move forward, right? You got to do it despite the fear, despite the criticism, despite your self-talk. And I just, for me, it's about resilience. It's about not giving up. And when you do give up, that says that you really didn't want it that badly anyway, or you had an idea that it was going to come to you easily, or you're not doing it for the right reasons. Like, so when I hear people say they want to act, I say, why? And if their answer is, well, I want this thing or that thing, that car, that, like, that's not why you act, right? That's not why you dance. When you think about dancers, which is, again, why I have so much respect for dancers. There's not a whole lot of money in longevity in dancing, but what people have to put their bodies through to dance, and what career really is it for a dancer after a certain age, right? So they really do it for the love of it. And for actors and people who are performers, they do it because they genuinely love it. They genuinely love to make people feel something. And the other stuff, right? The car, the house, everything which by the way, you should want and have, but that's not the reason to go.
Those are the outputs. The input is the hard work, the passion, the love.
Yeah, I mean, I was selling car insurance and going to acting class at night. I was going to auditions, and then I was on unemployment. Then I was doing anything I could just to sustain life, to support my acting. There was no I'm tired. There's no I can't. There was like, I'd stay up to 2, 3 in the morning at an acting class and then have to get up at 6 for work. Or I'd go to audition, have to come back and make up the time. Like, it's hard work, but it takes the payoff when you get to where you want to be is so beautiful. I mean, part of the joy of my career, when I think about it, was when I was struggling to get there.
Well, because you appreciate where you are now because of what you've been through.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's great advice. And thank you so much for being on the show.